This week's theme is potpourri. Okay, I know that potpourri by its very definition isn't a theme, but the people who sit at desks all day who know way more about things than we do tell us you have to have a theme or people won't watch your TV show. Besides, if the plastics industry can have a category called Other, Waste Not can have a theme called potpourri. So there. Keeping with our potpourri theme, we're going to find out the difference between a landfill and a dump. Now, you don't want either in your backyard, but if you have to have one, pick the landfill. In the middle of the show, you'll see a slice of an industry that you didn't even know existed, unless, of course, you already know what the acronym IPSO stands for. No shouting from the audience, please. Intrepid researchers going to show you how to have politically correct garbage. But first, our Ministry of the Environment contact lured us to the next story by telling me how much we'd love their funky machinery. Well, that was enough. Off we went. But the funky machinery wasn't anything compared to the real story. See, while our municipal leaders were all in Europe trying to find an example of a smooth-running blue box operation, we were in Grand Bend, Ontario, looking at one.
A blue box.
The very thing we've been looking for. Okay, true or false? Recycling costs a lot of money. There are no markets for recycled materials. People don't participate, and only the consultants are getting rich. If you answered true to any of the foregoing, you probably don't live in an area serviced by Bluewater Recycling. The Bluewater Recycling Association was formed as a hybrid of government and a privately operated company. This allows the operation to be run under municipal guidelines with a municipal board of directors, but by a single person instead of a committee.
When we have to look for a market and make decisions within 10 minutes, it gets done. You're not waiting for a committee to approve it and another subcommittee to make sure that the right committee did it and that sort of thing. And so you're leaving all this bureaucracy behind. You're coming out with the numbers that are cost-effective, high diversion numbers, and the ethics are all under control because they have their finger on things. The Bluewater Recycling Association is a cooperative of about 44 municipalities right now in the 4 counties. Counties of Lambton, Middlesex, Perth, and Huron. And from those particular municipalities, the association provides primarily collection, processing, and marketing services of a variety of recyclables, expanded blue box program, essentially.
Bluewater uses compartment trucks, so curbside sorting is the first step in the process. Back at the plant, we got a look inside one of the trucks. The partitions can be adjusted to match the relative amounts expected of newspaper, cans, bottles, and glass.
So that's colored glass. What's this?
Colored glass in the colored glass is in there, and the clear glass is on top.
Oh, I see. Split that way. And so this one is.
The main compartment we're in is for the cans of plastic.
Right. And then the final compartment out here is paper.
Paper and cardboard.
The truck dumps its end compartment first, then unlocks the first partition to dump the next category, and so on. Those blue boxes you see are broken ones that were replaced on the route. This is the plastic bottle and can line, and the first place you get a glimmer of the private industry angle.
What we've essentially done is adapted a piece of machinery that was already well used in the agriculture. In this particular case here, a barn cleaner or a manure cleaner that's commonly used for chicken or cows or whatever, poop conveyor, was essentially adapted to our use. The paddles were a little bit longer and we've modified it, and we're using that to feed the equipment. So what tends to happen there is you're looking at about a $4,500 piece of machinery that otherwise might have cost us somewhere around $50,000, $40,000 to put it in the conveyor system.
Incoming cans and plastic pass a quality control station that catches anything that shouldn't be there. A rotating screen separates cans from bottles. Steel cans are caught by a magnet, crushed between a pair of rollers, and ejected here. Rather than a lot of fancy-schmancy sorting equipment, Bluewater uses people. People can sort material to a high degree of detail. For instance, lids are removed from the bottles to allow them to be compacted. Try and compact a plastic bottle with a tight lid yourself if you want to see why this is necessary. Cans that get this far are mostly aluminum. The occasional steel can that sneaks through is caught by another magnetic roller. The sorting is people intensive, but done in fairly brief batches, so this isn't as grueling as it looks. Everyone sorting has a group of bins for discards. During less hectic moments, they review the material in their bins to see whether it's garbage or recyclable. Yes, they take oil containers. Yes, they take aluminum pie plates. About $500 worth of deposit bottles a week goes towards staff parties and bonuses. Continuing with the theme of reasonably priced farm machinery, a grain blower moves the aluminum cans to their storage bin. The steel can densifier was even cheaper.
There was a can manufacturer that was going out of business, and they were getting rid of all their equipment, and this was classified as obsolete. If nobody was coming to get it, it was going to go in the scrapyard. And we managed to find it, made a deal with the company, and we have it here in densifier cans with it, and sort of has a second life.
Material is accumulated into bins and piles to be baled at a less hectic time. Because this is a batching operation rather than a continuous one baler is all that's needed. More money saved. The human eye batch sort system leads to very high quality, uncontaminated piles of material, the finest we've seen. As well as mainstream items, there are a couple we've never run across before. Contaminated paper is sold for animal bedding, and propane tanks are bead blasted, painted, tested, revalved, and resold. But what happens to the bulk of the recyclables? Everyone knows there are no markets for that stuff.
It never ceased to amaze me on how politicians or certain municipalities can come up and tell the rest of the world that recycling doesn't work and markets aren't there, because it's not true. Markets have been around for years. All you have to do is market the right products. And if you're trying to sell garbage, as far as I know, garbage is still not a commodity. However, there's markets for different plastics, not mixed plastics, but different resins of plastics. There's markets for different types of metals, different grades of paper, and that they will buy. And they will buy as much as you can produce them in the quality and quantity that they're looking for. I mean, you're seeing material there that's separated. But with the separation we have now, we can market as much as we want wherever wherever the best priced is.
Don't get the idea that this is merely an efficient, well-run recycling operation. Bluewater is responsible for waste reduction across the board. They provide household hazardous waste days, paint exchanges, composters at cost, free books, videos, and a school curriculum on waste reduction. The goal for waste diversion in our province is 50% by the year 2000. Francis and his team are currently at 65% in some communities.
Forget about talking about the engineer's report to talk about high cost of waste diversion and such like that. Now you tell me today, we talked about earlier about 65% waste diversion that we've achieved here through simple education, simple programs that we've used at a cost to the householders of about $23 a household per year. Okay? If that's too expensive, please talk to me, because as far as I know, garbage costs in the area are about $110 a household. They're not anymore with user pay, they're not tackling. They're only tackling 35% of the waste stream. If I'm tackling 65% for a fraction of the cost that they're doing theirs, then I think we're a lot cheaper than they are.
Are you available as a consultant?
We've been available as a consultant for a long time, but unfortunately people don't want to hear good stories. They want to know what's happening in Toronto, they want to know what's happening in New York, they want to know what's happening in Europe. But they're not looking in their own backyard to see what the success stories are. I mean, I'm getting, I've received visitors from Australia, I've received visitors from Holland, I've received visitors from BC. They're all coming here to find out our secret on how we do things. Yet our consultants and our high-paid people are going in their countries to find out what their secrets are. And really, I don't think anyone knows, has all the solutions. What we do here works for us.
Middlesex, Perth, Huron, and Lambton deserve credit for keeping their fingers out of the day-to-day operations of the Bluewater Recycling Association. I hope my municipality is listening.
And it's unfortunate that perhaps not more services in the municipal government weren't handled in that manner.
Hear, hear.